Hello everybody, Gibsomatic here, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the Gunrunning update for GTA Online. Now, this was a DLC that came out about 2 months ago, a little over 2 months ago actually, and I know I'm kind of late on doing a review for it, but I still want to at least put a review out there, because I've done it for a lot of DLCs in the past, and I feel like there's many things that need to be said about this update, but just as many, if not more, that just kind of ruined this update for me. And that's because there are a number of good things about this update, and there are some disappointments and some frustrations with this particular update, and I still wanted to talk about it. So let's first start off with the content of this update. And I gotta say that it's actually one of the most content-rich updates, and one of the best for, new weapons and weapon upgrades, and you also have a lot of cool stuff with the bunkers. And then you also have some amazing vehicles added to GTA Online with a lot of customization and even some cool clothing options as well. And I feel like if you look at just the content perspective, and if you had millions of dollars in GTA Online, you didn't have to worry about money at all, this would be one of the best updates for you. Because, if you could just experience all the content without any worries about money, it would be perfect, right? There's amazing vehicles. Well, some of my favorites are the new Oppressor Jet Bike. That's amazing. It's an amazing vehicle. That's one of my new favorite vehicles in the game. It's honestly replaced, me, doing missions. I would, usually call a buzzard or, call a jet to fly across the map. Not anymore. I just get on my Oppressor and I can fly using that. But even some of the other vehicles are pretty awesome. You've got some customizable vehicles like the Insurgent Custom and the Technical Custom. You've also got some new vehicles like the Night Shark, and you've even got some new supercars like the Wagner and the XA21. Some very cool supercars in GTA Online. And there's just a wide variety of new vehicles and many different customization options, and that is one of the strong suits of this DLC. And it doesn't just stop at vehicles. You've got the new Mark II weapons. Now, granted, I would have liked to have seen some actually new weapons, entirely new weapons in this DLC. I would have liked to have seen maybe a Mark II shotgun as well be added, but who knows? Maybe we'll see new Mark II weapons in the future, in future DLCs. That would be awesome. But even the customization, and these change the weapons visually, and as well as, some different, damage statistics changing and stuff like that. But the best part about these Mark II weapons is the customization with them. You can change, different ammo types. You can change the camos. There's very many cool camos and liveries and tins that you could put on the guns to customize them and personalize them even more. Much like how we've seen, cars in GTA get more customization with Bennies and all those. It's kind of cool to see how in GTA with the weapons, and I hope that in the future they don't just stop here and they add more Mark II weapons and more customization to the weapons in GTA Online. I think that's one of the strong suits about this DLC. And then also talking about the bunkers themselves, they're pretty cool. I mean, there's a lot of different locations on them. I would have liked to have seen some more unique locations. That was one thing that was in my wish list before this DLC came out. It's kind of like you can buy the most expensive one, which is in the best spot, or you could buy a cheap one that's in a worse spot usually. But they're all pretty much the same bunker. I would have liked to have seen some secret hideouts or, different reasons to buy different bunkers. Like I said in my wish list, if you had a bunker off the coast and then you could, get boat access, or you could get, helicopter access with one. Or maybe, there's one bunker that's a secret hideout inside of a gas station. Or, you go into that old motel in Sandy Shores and then there's a secret bunker, secret entrance in there. I think that those would have been awesome, and there just would have been more variety into which bunker you would actually buy. But even then, the bunkers themselves are quite cool. I still think that they're quite good and, a lot of fun to explore, even though I feel like some of the upgrades for them are a little bit overpriced and not really worth it. I mean, just look at the caddies. There's no reason to buy them whenever the caddy is only just a little bit faster than walking, and you can also drive bikes into your bunker, so that's a cool thing, but at the same time, what's the point of the caddies? Also, the gun range, I do think that that is a quite cool feature, and I do like how, if you put the time in and you complete some of the challenges, you get different rewards. I do think that is something that's cool about this DLC, you know, is there are some challenges with the gun range, and that does add a little bit more life into this DLC, and adds a little bit more gameplay into it. Even though I don't get why, if you buy a gun range, you can't use any of the other weapons besides the Mark II weapons. I spent over $700,000 for this gun range, and I'm only able to use 6 different weapons? That's a bit strange. You know, maybe you'll only make the Mark II weapons the ones that are required for the missions, you know, and the different unlocks and stuff. However, why can't I test out different weapons and different weapon configurations, even if they're not a Mark II weapon? I find that a bit strange. And also, even the missions for the bunker, they're actually a lot more fun, in my opinion, than the biker missions. You know, the biker missions, they're repetitive, and while there are some fun ones, you know, for the resupplies and stuff, overall, I just feel like the bunker ones are much improved, and also even the selling missions are a little bit better, so there's that as well. You're not usually in as slow of vehicles as where you are with the biker mission. Even though there are some of those missions, like the one where you have to take that technical custom, and then there's helicopters flying around you with pinpoint accuracy that can just shoot through your armored technical custom, whereas you can't shoot at all back at them unless you have a teammate on the gun. So missions like those are very frustrating, very annoying. However, the majority of them aren't that bad. Even though all the content in this DLC, or at least most of it, is quite awesome, I've got to say, there's still a few problems with this DLC that I want to mention, and I don't want to be left forgotten about this DLC, because, and keep in mind, whenever this DLC came out, that this was one of my most anticipated DLCs out there. It just sounded so awesome, you know, all the new content looked amazing. There are, and keep that in mind whenever I'm going through this, that I was very hyped for this DLC. However, after it came out, my hype kind of got killed by some of the stupid decisions that Rockstar put in place for this DLC. And there's 2 big problems with this DLC I have. First is the research system, and second is the lock-in of content behind certain items that you also had to buy. And what I mean by that, and we'll start with the second one first, and I feel like this is just a way for Rockstar to nickel and dime you even more. And what it is, let's say you wanted to buy the military Tampa, and that's what you wanted to buy. You didn't care about any of the other content, you just wanted to buy the military Tampa. Okay, well, you can buy it. It'll cost you a couple mil, not too bad. But let's say you wanted to customize it. Well, can't take it into Los Santos Customs. For some reason, you can't. So, to customize the Tampa, which, keep in mind, only costs 1.5 million, I think, you're going to need to spend a couple million on a bunker. Then you're going to need to buy a mobile operation center for another, you know, million or over $1 million. And not just that, you're going to need to put in a vehicle and weapons workshop. Not just a vehicle workshop, there's nothing like that. You have to buy a vehicle and weapons workshop. So if you didn't even care about the weapons workshop, you're kind of spending a little bit extra money there. But keep in mind, you can also buy a weapons workshop and a vehicle storage, but not a vehicle customization part, which is a bit strange in my opinion. So you're going to have to spend at least probably $4 million just for the ability to customize your Tampa Custom. And that's also added on the fact that you're going to have to buy the Tampa Custom. But not just that, you're going to need to go through the research program with your bunkers. You're going to need to spend millions of dollars, depending on how lucky you are in getting, you know, some of the machine guns, the mines on your Tampa. If you wanted to upgrade your Tampa with those weapons, and, you know, maybe you want to put on a livery or something like that, you're going to need to unlock it through the research program, which will take, you know, hours upon days of playtime, you know, waiting in your bunker and resupplying supplies, or you're gonna have to spend, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars each and every time trying to fast track, and it's a lot of money. It's essentially a money sink just to unlock this new content. Same is true with you wanted to unlock the Mark II weapons. That's all you cared about. You're gonna need to buy a bunker and a mobile operations center with the weapons workshop or a weapons and vehicle workshop. And then you also need to unlock the stuff through research. If you just wanted to get started in this DLC, you're going to have to spend probably at least $5 million just to be able to customize some of the vehicles and just to be able to customize some of the weapons. And it's absurd how much money you have to put into this DLC just to unlock some of the content. And I understand, if it pertains to the biker stuff, I understand, okay, charge some money for that. If you want to do the new mobile operation mission, sure, lock that behind the mobile operation center. That's whatever. But why do you have to lock, these new weapons and, these customization for these vehicles, which you don't even know that you need a mobile operation center before you buy these vehicles? The game doesn't really tell you, or, it tries to hide the fact that you buy this vehicle, you can't customize it. The whole point of buying, some of these new vehicles is to customize them, but yet you can't without a mobile operation center with that specific upgrade. You may be like me and you didn't know that before buying any of these new vehicles, and I, spent a couple $100,000 on the weapons workshop and the vehicle storage, not knowing that I had to buy the vehicle and weapons workshop just to be able to customize some of these new vehicles. And that's crazy to think about, and it's kind of scummy on Rockstar's part, in my opinion, the fact that you have to buy, in my opinion, a vehicle like the Mobile Operations Center, which I don't really even use. I mean, I rarely ever go in there. There's many bugs with it. You call it in and it spawns clear across the map. It takes, upwards of 10 to 15 seconds just to get in and out of. And then also the fact that there's not much, I feel like if it had more reason to exist, then it would be cool. And don't get me wrong, the Mobile Operations Center looks cool, it sounds cool in concept, but there's just not much point in it, in my opinion at least. Sure you can put guns on it, sure you can store vehicles in it, but why is it that we can't start missions from it? Do resupply runs, or, do even some of the CEO work, or, do something with it where it would have more reason to exist. And also my other big complaint with this DLC is the research program. Essentially what it is it's an RNG system. It's completely random. So, you could have, weapons for your oppressor. You could have missiles for your oppressor, and that's what you want. It's completely random. You're going to have to wait, and it's going to use up your stock that could also be used for manufacturing as research. And the bar takes up at least, I think, 6 hours to fill with all the upgrades. Keep in mind that. That's another thing that you're going to have to spend money on in this DLC. If you want, the most efficiency, you're going to have to spend like $1.5 to maybe $2 million on the actual upgrades for your bunker. That's another thing. But anyways, if you want, let's say, the missiles for your oppressor, and that's what you wanted, well, instead of getting those missiles for your oppressor, you also have a chance of getting a livery. You have a chance of getting vehicle upgrades for vehicles you don't own or that you may not ever own. You get weapon upgrade, and just a bunch of filler that you may not even care about. In my opinion, there's a couple problems with this. One is that it's completely random. I know for me this was very frustrating because, especially when trying to do GTA 5 gun guide and stuff, since it was completely random, I had to keep fast tracking stuff, and I spent, a couple million just on fast tracking it so that I could try and work on the GTA 5 gun guide videos, because explosive rounds for my heavy sniper was one of the last things I got researched. That was completely random. For some people, it may have been one of their first things they unlocked, but for me, it was completely random. I had to keep fast tracking and just waiting and keeping my game on just to be able to research some of these items. And you never knew what you would get. You could get a livery, or you could get a thing that you actually want. That is one thing, like, why can't we choose what we get to research? It also doesn't make much sense, because, like, you're the boss of this bunker. Like, you own the bunker. Why is it that your employees get to choose what they're going to research? Especially whenever everything seems to be on the same level playing field. Like, why is it that a livery takes as long to research and, is as prioritized as much as something like, missiles for your oppressor, or, bombs for your Tampa, all these other, explosive rounds for your heavy sniper, stuff like that? Why are those prioritized as much as liveries? Why can't we choose? Or at least, choose, what we want with, whether we want to prioritize vehicle upgrades, or weapon upgrades, or liveries, or whatever, right? Do something like that. I feel like that would be a lot better than what we got. Another problem I have with the research system is that it's just a waiting game, or a paying game. And why is it that research it doesn't have any impact on actual gameplay? You buy stock, or you steal some supplies and bring them back, and then that's it. You just wait there. If it was like, go do this mission and you unlock this research, or, go steal it from some other person's bunker, that would be cool. You know, maybe some different corporate espionage or something, you know, some different missions to make us unlock some of these different weapon upgrades or these different vehicle upgrades, instead of it just being a waiting game. Because that's what it is. You know, it's either wait here, wait for, you know, I think it's 6 hours with all the upgrades, wait for 6 hours with all the upgrades, or you could spend, you know, $225,000. It honestly feels like a mobile game. That's what it does. It feels like a mobile game where it's like, oh, you want to speed up your progress? Well, here you go. Just give us a little bit of money, and then you're good. And it's just an RNG system that bars you from unlocking certain items. In my opinion, the research system could have been awesome if it was something in-game that you had to do and you could prioritize what you wanted first. Then it would have been an awesome system. And it would have, you know, added more life into the actual DLC. It would have, you know, made the DLC last longer, because it's like, okay, I'm going to start, you know, I'm going to prioritize incendiary rounds. Then next we're going to go, you know, do this mission for the Oppressor missiles. Then next we're going to do this mission here. And then, you know, keep choosing what you want. And, you know, and you got to bring your squad to do some of these missions. And that would be awesome. However, what we got was a waiting game where you just wait, you know, you bring back supplies and you wait for your research to get done. And it's just, it doesn't add anything to the actual gameplay. Research could have been a good thing. It could have been something that would add more gameplay, but it doesn't. And it's just a way for Rockstar to nickel and dime you even more. Like I said, the content in this DLC is some of the best. However, just some of these stupid decisions that Rockstar added into this DLC, you know, like the research program, like how you have to buy the mobile operations center just to upgrade and customize some of the vehicles. Why is that required? Why is the research the way it is? It just doesn't add to the gameplay, in my opinion. And I feel like this DLC, it has some cool stuff, but at the same time, it's just frustrating to try and get into, because, you know, you have to have a lot of money just to enjoy it. Now keep in mind, this is from somebody, I went into this DLC with about $19 million, and even I was barely able to get any of the new content. Some of that was because I was fast tracking some of the research, some of that was, you know, maybe because I bought some stupid things with the bunker and stuff. Like I said earlier, if you had millions of dollars in this DLC and you didn't have to worry about a thing, you just had unlimited money, not a care in the world about what you bought, you know, or how you spent your money, this DLC was this DLC could have been one of the best. However, if you are on a tight budget in this DLC, you're not going to be able to enjoy it as much as somebody who has, you know, just unlimited amount of money. But anyway, some more thoughts on this DLC in the comments. What are your thoughts on it? Did you like it? Did you not? You know, were there any complaints that you had? Let me know all that in the comments. Hope you enjoyed. Feedback's always appreciated. I'll see you guys in the next video.